What up? So I watched Stranger Things, and I'm here to talk about it. So welcome to the video where I talk about Stranger Things, and I roleplay as 11. This is the third time I've roleplayed as a female character on this channel. I've roleplayed as Zero Men. Let's not talk about that. But, yeah, this would normally be the part where I slam a Lego set on the table. That represents it, but the set's retired. And even if I just got the small set, which has 60 pieces, that's $60. So I'm gonna be alone today. My dog's there. He's licking himself, but you can't see him. And we're gonna talk about Stranger Things. So um, I've heard about Stranger Things since it came out. My friends started watching it at around season 2. I was in 4th, 5th grade, and I heard them talking about it. I remember excitedly telling them about the Lego set when it was released because I didn't watch Stranger Things, but I knew they did, and they're like, yeah, it looks cool. Um, I I knew it took place in Indiana around the 80s, 85 I think is what I thought, and yeah, that's about as much I knew. In 5th grade, I saw the first episode. I enjoyed it, but it was at my friend's house, and I was too scared to ask my parents if I could use Big Boy Netflix, so I stayed on Kids for another 3 years. But now, after Kenobi, I've been watching Clone Wars before and after, but I'm sick of Clone Wars after that show. Just Star Wars in general. Thanks for making that, Disney. But I'm like, you know what? I heard that Stranger Things is having its last season. I thought that was season 4. I was wrong, but I decided to watch it. I started watching on the 26th. I was done with Star Wars at that point, and I'm just hoping Andor will be good, and then I don't know. But I've got a lot of shows after this, so I'm not going back to Clone Wars anytime soon. I've already rewatched it 3 times. But, okay, I started on the 26th. That's a Sunday of June. Now, I don't remember when I finished season 1 or 2, but I know I started season 3 on the 5th, finished it on the 7th. That was really bad. I got a really bad binging mood. And on the 12th, I finished the show. So, I was originally planning on watching one episode a day. I'd be done with season 3 at the end of July. It's July 13th, and I finished season 4. So, maybe I binged a bit too much, but we're here, and I'm going to talk about it. So that's my background with the show. Now let's get into the review. Season 1 time, go. Also, I should remind you that good viewers don't not subscribe to each other, so that means you need to subscribe if you want to be a viewer. I'm not just of my channel. If you're a viewer of anything, and so season 1, it's a really good start. It's one of the favorite seasons out of 4. But let me just tell you what happens in it. Wee woo, spoiler. Wee woo, spoiler. If you choose to watch this, you are not cool. You are a big stinky dum dum. Wee woo, spoiler. So, we start off with the boys playing D&D, and then they all go home, and Will, he finds some strange creature in the road, goes into his house, and gets kidnapped by electricity. And then we see a bald girl running around in an outfit like I'm wearing, except it has the little dots because it's a doctor's thing you wear at the doctor's, and then she goes to a food place, and now they're looking for Will, and there's like, well, hey, where's Will? He normally comes to school, and yeah, Will doesn't come to school because he got kidnapped, and now the bald girl, she's talking to this guy, and then he calls social services, and then these people come and they shoot him, and yeah, and then people start realizing that Will is lost, and then the boys go looking for him, me and the boys, and they find the bald girl. Her name is 11. Mike has a crush on her. She lives in Mike's basement. for a little bit of time, and they keep looking for Will. One day, they realize that she has superpowers. Mike stays home to show her around, and she feels some connection to Will, not emotionally, but like she can feel a link to him because he's on the other side, on this upside down world. Joyce, which is Will's mommy, is going crazy, playing with lights, and yeah, just weird stuff's happening. Everyone's looking for him. The police aren't doing that good job. You're not doing that too good of a job right now, Hopper. And okay, so now they 11 uses her magic brain thing, and they find him at a lake where he is dead, except as we later find out, he's not dead. Okay, so basically, it's all this big conspiracy by the government people who made 11. They opened a portal. The portal goes to another dimension where the evil electricity thing, it wasn't electricity, that was just because he's on the other side now. The monster, it's called the Demogorgon. It's not actually called the Demogorgon, that's just what they use to reference it from D&D, because they play D&D, like I said. So, yeah. Government dudes, they cover it up. They make it look like he's dead. They want 11 back. She destroys them. The brother of Will, the brother and the sister of Mike, and the sister of Mike's boyfriend. They're in the side story where they're basically everyone. There are groups in every season. It's normally the kids, the adults, and then the almost adults, solving different parts of it, and then they come together at the end, big finale. But in the finale, they separate again to take it all out. So they try to kill the Demogorgons. Steve, which is the boyfriend's name, runs away because they hold him at gunpoint and scared of the monster, but he needs to stay there because the monster comes. They kill the monster, except no, they don't, because it goes to 11 because there's the government dudes coming and they're all dead because she killed them, but it likes blood, so it goes them, or it's another one, we don't know. I don't think it's said. And then they rescue Will from the Upside Down. Season 1 done, son. But actually, 11 disappears, except no, she doesn't, because we see Hopper, which is the police guy, put Eggos into a box at the end of the season. She likes Eggos. That means that it's her. But yeah, season 1. Although it sounds complicated, it really isn't. It was very fun. The characters, the young ones, they felt young, not too corrupted yet. I mean, you can start to really see that with the almost adult groups, I'll call them. So Nancy, Steve, and what's his name? Brother dude smokes crack season. I'll remember his name. So they're a bit more corrupted. I mean, you see with Will's brother, how it was like he was the thing with the dad, and like no, that's horrible. And then Nancy with the intercourse, and Steve with the vandalism, and but then the kids, they feel real naive and young, and then you have 11 and Will, which at the end they should really start to have a thing for each other, and the sacrifice, and you start to see her not talk, and that's a theme through it, and we'll keep going as we talk about it. But no, season 1, it was great story, it was great introduction, and I just think it was a lot of fun. It was like probably second longest season episode wise. Season 1 and then 2 and then 3, it got shorter each time, and then season 4 all the way up to the roof. But this one, it had really good pacing, but it starts this trend, which we'll discuss more, where they have the months later and showing how what's going on with everyone, how everyone's feeling. And it leaves you in a good mood, though. It's like, yeah, it's all nice and cuddly. And then the finale, it all happens in one episode. Everyone meets in one episode, but here you can't blame it for being the source. You can't blame the original trilogy because the sequels copied it. It was really great. Season 2. I really like this one. First time watching, it's lowered a bit after that. But yeah, let's get into talking about. Also, this video isn't sponsored by water because this video is sponsored by air. Breathe it. It's good for your lungs. So, season 2. it was a good season. You start out with them with the Ghostbusters thing and at the arcades. So this is the theme between season 2 and 3, which I like. You see the modernization of the town. We've got an arcade coming to town. That seems like the hot new place. It does kind of hurt my head when we get to season 4, but again, we'll get there when we get there, kids. Lucas, he's black. He's nice. Dustin, he doesn't have teeth and curly hair, and he kind of becomes Steve's buddy. And then we have Mike, who it's him and Eleven, like they have a thing for each other. And then we have Will, who disappears and he's scared of things. So yeah, someone beat Dustin's record in a game, and then they go to school the next day. The person who beat it was Mad Max. I thought, wait, doesn't that movie come out in the 2000s? I'm not sure. I don't care. But I didn't like that. That was the episode name. But no, there's a girl named Maxine, and Dustin and Lucas crush on her, and they're spying on her. But then they invite her to go trick or treating with them. Because it's Halloween now, or maybe this is the next day, and they're the only ones wearing costumes, and they invite her. Also, Dustin finds a baby Demogorgon in his trash can and takes it as a pet because he doesn't know it's a Demogorgon, but it's a Demogorgon that Will vomited out of his mouth, and yeah, that's cool. And Will, he's starting to have these visions of a cloud monster who we later call the Mind Flayer, again, TND reference. And Joyce is starting to date this new guy. His name is Bob. I love you, Bob. And one day, while taking him to school, Bob is telling Will about a story of his where he was scared of this big clown, and he kept having bad dreams about it. And then he just one day in the dream told the clown to go away and stop being a big meanie. And the clown goes away and stops being a big meanie. So then next time Will sees the cloud, he tries that, but then he gets possesses because Bob doesn't know anything. I love you, Bob, but just... So yeah, now he's kind of possessed by this cloud thing. He's all scared all the time. He's like, oh, I can feel it. He likes it cold because he's possessed. And it's hive mind because of Mind Flayer, that's what it doesn't. So, now Max is part of the group, and her brother's a big dingus and not nice guy. And he's fighting with Steve because Steve's kind of being a Nancy now. Get it? Because he likes a Nancy. And they're dating at the start, but then they kind of break up, and then Nancy's still mad about her friend dying in the first season. Her friend died in the first season while she was having intercourse, not because she was having intercourse, but while that was happening. We'll talk about that scene later, because I have a whole section dedicated to that scene, not about the scene, not anything that happens in the scene. She has blood, and Demogorgon like blood, so yeah. Friend's dead, and this is like for real dead, not like stuck in upside down dead. But okay, she's sad about it, and like Steve's kind of like, okay, let's move on, but she's like sad, and like she kind of talks to the brother, who I'll remember his name again, Jonathan. His name is Jonathan. Talks to Jonathan, and they're like, yeah, this ain't cool. And Steve and Nancy have been going to visit Barbara's parents. I'm not sure if I said that. The dead friend's name is Barbara. And like talking, and they hired this lawyer guy to look into this case, this detective. So they go visit him because they kind of try to tell them, except they don't, because it's a trap. Because they want to go to the government people so they can record the government people and get blackmail on them. And then they go to the guy, his name's Murray. Love you, Murray. He drinks vodka for work because that makes him think clearer. And they decide that, we'll just delete part of the message. We're not changing it, we're just deleting part of it so people believe it. We're going to send it to news people, and you guys should have sex and sleep with each other. So they're like, oh, no, you don't understand. And then they do it that night, and then they leave. And now there's more problems with the Mind Flayer. They go to the hospital but the dog is grown up. The Demodog, it's like a Demogorgon, but it's a dog, and it's the pet, and it ran away and it ate the cat, and it's making tunnels. The Hopper's was stuck in this underground place because there's something killing all the plants in town, and he goes to check it out. He digs down 5 feet, and he finds there's these tunnels connected by vines, and there are vines in the deep upside down. It reminds me of the deep dark from Minecraft. Okay, don't judge me. One thing I forgot to mention so far is that Hopper he didn't just give 11 pancakes. He adopted her as a daughter. They're kind of fighting because he's like, it's been 350 days since I've been outside and I want to go outside, but you said it's not safe to go outside, but it seems safe to go outside. And she runs away, and because there's falls in his house, she realizes that the mama, who is still alive, is alive and goes to visit her, but she's in a bad mental state. But then she possesses her head and goes through her memories and finds out she has a sister. She finds the sister who also has powers. Her name's 8. What up, 8? And she's weird, as we find out in later seasons. Well, not find out, but just based on what we know. She can influence what people see. Like you see right now how I'm editing. I don't know. My dog on the screen. He's not actually right here in front of me. So yeah, isn't that crazy? She can do that, and she can make people not see things. So make yourself invisible because you're not there, even though you are there. And they meet, and she's like, "No, we gotta kill those lab people, those scientists. They were so mean to us as kids. We gotta kill them all." So they go to kill one of them, and they realize that the doctor guy has a son and a daughter, maybe just 2 daughters, I don't know, and like, oh, you have a daughter, oh, okay, that's fine, we'll leave you, and then just leaves the group, and then leaves them, and we haven't seen them since in any other season, hoping for season 5, maybe help them fight, oh wait, no, I'm not telling you that, you wait till my season 5 predictions part, which is the second last part, and we've got 5 things to do until then. So you stay put. So yeah, now the lab people, which is Mike, it's Mike, it's Will, it's Hopper, and it's Joyce. They're stuck there because there's more Demodogs now, and they're attacking. Because when Hopper was in the tunnel, when they rescued him, they burned it. And the Mind Flayer didn't like that because he's like, no, we're a hive mind. If you burn him, you burn me. And I don't like being burned because I like it cold. Did you not hear? So, using Will, he sets up a trap. And now there's a bunch of Demodogs. Also, Bob is here. Thank God for Bob. And then, yeah, so they're all roaming the halls and they're all stuck in a room. And it's on lockdown, but they can't leave because it's on lockdown. And you need to know, like, BASIC, which is some coding language. No, what is BASIC? It's not Java, it's not C++. I don't know what a BASIC is, okay? So, yeah, he knows BASIC, and that's how the computers are run. So to unlock it, they need to use him. He goes down, unlocks it, and then on the way up, he's all safe, right? But then, out of nowhere, the Demodog comes and just eats him, and it's very scary, and Joyce is very sad, but they're out now, and now it's the group meetup time. Okay, everyone got it? They're stuck in the house, like everyone, all the characters, they're stuck in Joyce's house for the second time to try to kill the pets. But then you know what happens? They're all surrounded by the hundreds of dogs. They get thrown away. You know why? Because 11's back in town. And Mike's mad because Hopper didn't say she was alive. But, they're cool now. So now 11 goes with Hopper to the portal, which we know is still there in the hospital place, and to shut it, and so then they shut it, but because there's going to be all the dogs there, what happens, the kids, so Steve, Steve, Mike, Max, Dustin, Lucas, all of them, they burn the vines in the underground place to distract the dogs, and it's safe. Now it's 2 months later this time, and Hopper legally adopts 11, and it's the snowball. That's the thing in season 2, which I didn't say, but when they were starting to love each other, Mike's like, you want to go to the snowball with me? And she's sure, but then, she dies, so they can't go. But then the next year, it's at snowball, so it's Mike and her, and, since Dustin and Lucas have a thing for Max, Lucas asks Max to dance. There's a girl who had a crush on him, so they dance, and then Dustin's all alone, poor little soul. I felt so bad for him, and so did Nancy, so she decided to dance with him as a volunteer, just help him a bit, and yeah, make girls jealous. Wait, whoa, he's dancing with her? Oh my god, I should have danced with him. And that's season 2. Also, there was Max's brother at some points, but no one likes him. So, what do we think about this season? I say we, I mean me, because Mika didn't watch this show. Very sad. I'm gonna make her like this. I'm gonna move her and put her on the couch and make her watch it. Season 2, I think it had higher stakes, but I start to see the repetitiveness, which happened between this and season 3, where it's like, it's just the same thing, higher stakes. The Mind Flayer, I like the concept of him, but it kind of gets thrown out the window in season 4, and it doesn't seem as cool as it goes on. But like this cloud monster, it's iconic. The poster of the boys riding their bikes up, and then you see the Mind Flayer over town. I mean, that's an iconic poster in my opinion. I'll always remember that. And I think it was good. Max was a great introduction. I'm so sad Bob died. Murray was great here. And I don't know. It was good, but it was a little bit stepped down. I mean, you had Mike and Elle in it for more. You had Hopper being more of a character. And it was really good. It wasn't the same. It didn't feel nearly as exciting, I'd say. It felt a bit shorter and the plot a bit dumbed down, which is a theme we'll see, where it seems like, the seasons get shorter, but it makes it more binge-worthy because it's happening so fast. But that's not necessarily great for the story. It just makes it more exciting in the moment. But now, Revenge of the Three, Season 3. Why does 3 always need to be the worst thing? Shrek 3, Star Wars 3, also known as Return of the Jedi. The third Star Wars trilogy. Oh my god, there's probably more 3 things that are bad, but, so Season 3. This new mall has opened in town. The Star Court Mall. It's all excited, everyone's there. Well, actually, we start with Mike and 11 kissing. It said they do that a lot in the 6 months between seasons. But everyone goes to the mall, they watch a movie, they go to meet, what's his name, Steve, who works at an ice cream place, so they can cut through. I think so they don't need to pay tickets, but I might have misunderstood that. Everything is great. Dustin returns back from summer camp where he met a girlfriend who's apparently the hottest thing ever and the smartest thing ever. Does that happen? We'll need to wait and see. That's why you keep watching the video. I mean, if you're this far in, this is my best retention ever. So, yeah. So, everything's going good. Hopper's getting really mad about Mike and Elle dating. And he was going to have a talk to him, like Joyce said. But, you could always just sabotage them and say he's going to beat the kid up and not let them date ever if he doesn't spend one day off. Which makes Elle mad because she doesn't know. And it's Mike's fault somehow. He's the liar. Ha ha ha. Very funny. But, okay, so, everything's great at the mall. But you know what? When they go to bring the machine that Dustin made to talk to his girlfriend up a mountain, they don't hear anything until they do. A Russian transmission. What? Also, Billy, he's flirting with Mike's mom, who, let's just say at the minimum, she has kids at 16. That's very young. Okay, so now, Nancy, that's about 16. So, maybe 17, but we'll just say 16 for simplicity. She's 32. He's a teenager. they're flirting, and he's gonna try to intercourse, and I mean that was unacceptable. She's probably at least 40. That's she was fantasizing about things with him, and it was just creepy. I want to forget that ever happened, but he gets in a car crash and then goes to an abandoned warehouse where, get this, a bit of the mind flayer possesses him and kills rats. So in this part, okay, now we're moving forward. I forgot Jonathan and Nancy. They're reporters, and no one respects Nancy because she's a new girl. Um, no one at work, that is. Even though they're literally just interns, and she's getting mad about that. She hears a call from an old lady about rats eating dirt, and then goes to investigate, and she captures one of the rats, and is like, "Whoa, this is so weird." And then they go to report it to the head guy, and he's like, "Why? That's not a story. Why wouldn't rats eat dirt?" And she's all mad. Now back to the Hopper and Joyce. There is people hating the mayor. We see the mayor in this season, and he gets called up to stop them, and so he does. But later on, Joyce is just feeling weird about something. The magnets aren't working, and they were gonna go on a date, but she cancels because she goes to see a weird science teacher to talk about magnets, and he's mad. He's not the best character in this season. I really don't like him in season 3. So you get 2 thumbs down. Hopper in this season, you dissed your daughter and her boyfriend, and you're being mean to Joyce because she was investigating something. But okay, they go to the Hawkins lab, HNL or some Hawkins National Lab or some, which is where we've been seeing things. But while there, this Russian guy just beats him up for no reason, and then leaves. This is something which I didn't think of until right now making this video. But why? There's no reason for him to beat up Hopper. Literally no reason. But he's like, I recognize that ghost. So he goes into the mayor's office, starts beating up the mayor like, pew, 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 pew. I'm gonna beat you up, man. I'm gonna beat you up. And he's like, what's happening? Who's that man? He was in your office. And he's like, oh, he's a bad guy. And he's buying stuff for me. Like property. So they go to check out one of the property. And the guy comes back. And they start fighting. But there's this Russian guy here, a scientist, working on this project. So they kidnap him and go. Okay, now back to the story. With the well, they were called like the Scoop Troop later in the season. So if they have names in this season, it's different groups. I'm gonna go with it. So the Scoop Troop, right? This is Steve. It is Dustin, the girl who works with Steve, named Robin, and then later on, Lucas's sister. So the main three, not the sister, they've discovered what the message means. They've encrypted it. They discover a message, and they realize what's happening. It's a secret message telling to go to this secret place to do secret stuff. But they can't get there because there are armed guards there. So they sent a 10-year-old through a vent to get there and open the door. They get in and wait, and then they check out the boxes, the cargo, and they realize it's weird magic stuff, and but then they can't leave because the door's shut and it's an elevator, and they go into a secret Russian base. What? So yes, they're in a secret Russian base, and they go check it out, and they figure things out in like 3 episodes. They're in there, and then they break it. Nancy and Robin get captured and drugged, where they kind of say they like each other. But it gets explained later on. So that's all happening. And now the adult people, the kitties, we'll call them, I forgot what their nickname was, so we'll call them the Fantastic Elves. Yeah, they're the Big Elves, yeah. Big Elves. So, right now Max is hanging out with 11 a lot more, since she's not hanging out with Mike because Mike ditched because Hopper told him to, and she's mad at them and she dumps them, but it's like joke dump, and they're just making fun of them, and it's boring and it's dumb, but they realize something's sus with Billy, Max's brother. So they go, they realize he's been infected by the Mind Flayer and controls them, and more people are being infected by the Mind Flayer because of him. So Mind Flayer's capturing people, and they kind of basically investigate that. So now, Hopper, Joyce, and Russian dude, Alexei. That's the most generic Russian name they could have called. Hopper kept calling him Sarkov, and that's probably some reference I don't get. But Sarkov is probably a more unique Russian name than Alexei. Everyone's Alexei in Russian, you know. Alexei Poon, that president guy. Everyone's named Alexei. There's Alexei in Black Widow, and that's all I can think of, but I'm sure I've heard it a lot. So that was very dumb. So they go to Murray because Murray's the only person who can speak Russian. They steal a car to do it. It's a yellow car. And he's being kind of a tool at first. The Russian Alexei, he's like, yeah, like messing around, like, I want to watch Looney Tunes, and I won't talk if you don't get me strawberry slushy. This is yellow slush. I want strawberry, or you got me mango, or something. I don't remember. I'm talking in this accent now, and I can't stop, but I'm gonna stop now. I'm sorry about that. But Hopper cracks him. He's like, yeah, run away. And he's like, yeah, he's gonna come back. He's scared of. And then Murray and Joyce are like, no, he won't come back. He's starting the car. He's running away. And then he comes back. Oh wow, great twist. And then he tells them, yeah, they're making a portal, and you need to stop the portal because it's a portal to the upside down in their secret base. So now this is the collision point. The boys, when I say the boys, I mean, the big elves, they try to stop the Mind Flayer, read Billy's mind to try to figure out where it is, but they just call the Mind Flayer to where they were, which is his house, and then they fight there, and then, like, it's coming through, because this time it's not a cloud, it's made of human flesh and bones, and basically just, it's made up of gore. It's a gore monster. And that's very exciting, you know. But a bit of it gets in Elle's leg, and she's like, "Oh no, it hurts so bad!" So they go to a grocery store and get stuff and fix it. And then it comes again, and they go to the Starcourt Mall and fix it because they hear from Dustin, who says, "Hi, we're on a commie base, and there's commies after us." So you know now, the Scoop Troop, they're cornered. They're cornered. The Russian guys are coming after them. But you know what happens? Just in the nick of time, like every season. Just when something bad's really about to happen, someone comes in and stops them. So yeah, Elle comes in, throws a car, and now they're together, and then it's like, oh no, my leg hurts, and they pull it out of her leg, and they not amputate it, but like burn it, and stop the bleeding, and then they get the thing out, and it's starting to run away, and then you know what happens? Hopper stomps his foot. They're all together, and they're making a plan. So this is where my problems really start to come, but again, we'll talk about it. Hopper, Murray, Russian guy, and, well, Russian guy died already. They went to a carnival for some reason because they thought the kids were there, which just means that Alexei died, so sad. So Murray, Joyce, and Hopper, they go into the Russian base and stop the portal, which will stop the Mind Flayer, and then the kids, they just need to escape the Mind Flayer, so that's what they do. But, you know, the Mind Flayer's coming, and it's all scary, and, you know, now the adults are in the base, right? They're in the base, and, you know, everything's going according to plan, but to get into the room where they destroy the machine, they need to figure out the code. And Murray got the code wrong, because he's a dum-dum. He's so dumb, he doesn't even know the number. What number? I don't remember, but he's dumb because he doesn't. So, we gotta shame Murray for that. But they don't know it, so it's like, wait, who would know that? Dustin's like, my girlfriend. So they go up a mountain to call the girlfriend, and they need to sing a song for some reason. So I'm not sure if to verify that it's him, or just like, hey, you haven't talked to me in 3.5 days, sing a song to me. And but then she says the number. But when they're in the base, the big Russian guy comes and he's like, I'm a big Russian guy. Starts beating up Hopper, so Hopper can't get the key, but he's stuck by the machine, and the machine's about to blow up. But Joyce turns the keys because they need to shut it, or else Elle will die, and Hopper doesn't want Elle to die because that'd probably be bad. So she turns it, and he gets blown up. Now, for the 3 months later thing, it's basically, okay, backtrack a bit. Remember earlier I was saying that Steve and Robin had a thing for each other. Steve started to have a thing for her, but she's lesbian, and when she said, "Oh no, I was obsessed with you," it's like, no, yeah, I was obsessed with you because you were taking away the attention from the girl I liked was obsessed with you, and I didn't like that. I wanted her to like me. She wouldn't even look at me because she was looking at you and your hair. But they're friends. They get a job at a movie place, and the main thing that happens is that Joyce, her family, so Jonathan and Will, and then Eleven, because Hopper's dead, so they live with her, move to California. Woo woo, they're moving to California. They're gonna have all the beach parties and all the fun and won't get bullied at all. And then it's this goodbye, and these goodbyes, they always, however bad the episode or season was, they leave you on a good note. Also, Hopper's alive in Russia. Now, I didn't see this, but I did see it at the start of episode 1 of season 4, so I mean, it worked out. But okay, season 3, it was a hot mess. There was a lot of cringe, a lot of unnecessary. The whole Scoop Troop arc didn't need to happen because they figured out the same thing. The Popo group, that's their name now. The Popo group, which is you understand who they are. They figured the same stuff out. The only thing they added was getting them out of this story and say, okay, you turn left and turn right in these tunnels. We didn't need that. The whole dumping thing just felt dumb and unnecessary and like a waste of time. Like Billy, he's a kind of a boring character, and it's like you're only sad he dies because Max is sad he died and he sacrificed himself. Oh, it's a big deal. And it's just it felt unnecessary. It had the same villains as season 2, and it was just boring. It was the worst season. I binged it the fastest because it felt so short. Most of the episodes were under 45 minutes. I mean, even the longest episode, which is an hour and 20 minutes, and the finale, it wasn't that great. I mean, it felt rushed. Now, yes, when I found out in episode 1 it was the Russians, I was like, oh yeah, just thank God. Thank God, Mother Russia, for seeing that communist flag. Thank God. I was joking. It was just boring. It wasn't necessary. I preferred the Russians much more in season 4. Great transition. I'm talking a lot. I need more. So, season 4. This was a great one where every episode's at least an hour, probably hour 20 minutes was the shortest, and the longest was 2 hours and 20 minutes. That's a movie, not an episode of TV. I'm sorry, but I'm just stating facts. So, it's a weird start. It feels different. It's not the biggest time gap. It's almost a year, like 8-9 months, but it feels so much different. And yeah, that's kind of because the 3-year time gap in real life. For me, it was about like about 8 hours because I went to bed and then watched the next day. But it just felt different. It started with Elle basically reading a letter of, yeah, my life is so great here, but I'm feeling very busy and everything's going great. And then we go to see her at school where she's getting bullied, and yeah, it wasn't what you'd expect, but it was working out good. Jonathan's smelling, he's sniffing them grass. I gotta show my respect, man. Here's mine. So yeah, and then back in the real world, they're in high school, and the episode's called Hellfire, And I was thinking of Marvel for some reason and be some Marvel reference, because they also do that, comic books, and like Hellfire Club from X-Men, and they reference X-Men in the past. But it's a D&D club. So the nerds are in the Hellfire Club with Eddie, who's a fun, lovable goof guy. He seems tough on the outside, but you know he's just a nice guy. But Lucas, he plays basketball now, so that means he doesn't have time for his friends. He can't play a game of D&D because he needs to sit on the bench of basketball, where he actually doesn't be on the bench for the game and wins the final score, the final goal. But I can't be too mad about that, because seeing the assist from the D&D club was amazing, replacing him. But one of the sports jocks' girlfriends, the leader of the group's girlfriend, she's seen something. She's seen like a monster, and she's like, "What's happening? I don't know." And then she goes to Eddie, because he sells drugs, and at his house buying the drugs, she dies. She floats in the air, and her body like gets crucified, and not crucified, like just twisted and burnt, and her eyes are popped out and bleeding, and you're like, whoa, what's happening? So now, since it's a holiday, it's spring break, woot woot. He's on vacation now, and he's looking like the tackiest tourist you've ever seen coming to California. And Eleven's just so happy to see him, and she's got the day all planned out for everything, every fun thing they're gonna do. Starting to go to a skater place. Jonathan's friend, who turned him on the great stuff. He has this pizza truck, because he's in a pizza company, and he sells pizza. I like seeing the pizza scene later in the season. Again, we'll get to that. It was cool, and they're going to the place, and they're having fun. She's like, "Yeah, I have so many friends, dude. I know it's great here. No bullies, just friends for days." And some of her friends come, and they bully her, and they film her and make fun of her. And then she's like, "No, I'm so sad. I'm gonna cry. And then she's like, "I'm mad." Grabs a roller skate, and then bang, beats the bully in the face. Oh no! Oh my God! What's happening? What? And then the cops come to her house later, and you know who else does? Murray, because Joyce got a creepy Russian doll in the mail, which has a note that says, "Hopper's alive, give us ransom, LOL." And they're gonna go give them ransom, LOL, to save Hopper, who's alive. And he's gonna help to break out from this Russian guy, Enzo, I think, but that might be a code name. Because Enzo's where they were going to go on a date. Well, you don't know that, but you should, because I gave you a spoiler alert. And if you're still here, even though I gave you the spoiler alert, you heard what it said. You're a big dum-dum. It says something like that. I don't remember. I made it like a week ago. My memory's not that good. Okay, so now, back in Hawkins, Nancy's checking out what's happening, because she's in charge of school paper. They go to interview Eddie's dad, because everyone thinks Eddie did it. Eddie killed the guy, because D&D's a cult. I mean, it's obvious. D&D's a cult. Everyone knows that. And they think, okay, this is a cult killing by that D&D guy. It was in the D&D leader's cabin, or RV, so it's got to be the D&D guy. Exactly. I understand it just the same. But she interviews him and finds out about this guy whose name's like, I don't remember, and it doesn't really matter. But yeah, she goes, and then her assistant, he dies. He dies just like the girl. Her name's Chrissy. And Max is having problems. She's having a bit of scaredy, because she's sad because of Billy's death. Hillbilly from California. You go to California to find someone named Billy. You know what I mean? That was a bad joke. But yeah, okay. So everything's going good, and they start investigating, as a team. So now this time the three is the Hawkins boyos, You have the Cali Pizza Van, I'll call them. Later on, you'll have the Lab Folks, and then you have the Commie Daddies. So those are our groups, and remember them. So the Hawkins boyos, they're all united. The ones who didn't go on vacation, they're all trying to solve the mystery, and they realize that, oh wait, both people have had similar side effects. Headaches. They're starting to get visions, and they realize, oh shit, so has Max. So they go to visit the guy who was related to the killings before to talk about it, because they heard that there's some magic. They think it's kind of like a magic thing. They talk with Eddie about it, and he's like, he describes it kind of like magic, and wait, no, that's like that D&D character Vecna, who does magic. There's only one person who's ever done magic. We'll ignore that. So yeah, they go to talk about it, and it's like, he gave the story, and like basically it doesn't matter that much right now, but what we learn is that the only way to stop dying from the magic guy is by listening to your favorite song. So she radios over to the other group, who's like, yeah, Max thinks she's about to die, so she goes to talk to Billy, but then she gets possessed, and then she starts floating up in the sky. Oh no, she's about to die. They find her favorite song in her backpack, which I think is kind of rude, going through her stuff like that. I mean, it's an invasion of privacy, but they still do it. They find her favorite song, which is it's now on the radio. A song from the 80s is on the radio because of this show. That says how popular it is, and I just need a sniff to deal with it. I really need water. And they save Max. Now back to the Cali Bros. So I guess now it'd be the lab lab rats, we'll call them. That's their nickname now, the lab rats. So 11's being transported to prison because she injured someone, and what happens? The guy from season 2, that doctor who was the good doctor. Get it? That's the name of a show. So the good doctor comes and is like, here, fam. We're gonna make sure it doesn't look like you injured anyone. We're gonna clear your records. But some bad stuff's happening in your hometown, and you don't have powers anymore, because she doesn't have powers anymore. And we could give you powers again, or you could just not do anything. Choice is yours. But she's like, why would I not do anything? I gotta do something. So she goes to do something. They take her to this secret facility where she'll be trained to get her powers back by Papa. I haven't mentioned basically at all, but he was in charge of the lab, and like in season 1, not in season 2. He ran experiments on her, and if you've seen the show, but he's not that relevant to my what happened until now. But yeah, he's in it. So now the Cali Bros are like, yo, what happened? We gotta save her. And then it's like some popo guys come and be like, no, you gotta stay here. The good doctor sent us to protect you. But then the military comes like, woo, we need to go and get her. She's a bad girl. She's been murdering people in Hawkins. And I'm like, no, fam. And then they start studing her. And they go on a road trip because a guy gives her the pen with the address to it, except it doesn't have the address. It has like the IP address, so it means they go to Susie to hack into it. But at Susie's house, she doesn't have a computer because she changed Dustin's grades. See, that was important. That's why I mentioned it. Oh, no, I didn't. It's fine. I mentioned it now. So they change her grades, and they find out where it is. Back to the Hawkins Bros. This is like halfway. This would be the end of part 1, but I'm going to put them as a whole thing, not part 1, part 2. Because I can. So, now, they figure out, but basically both groups at the same time, which I think, oh wait, no, let's go back to the Commie Daddies. Okay, Commie Daddies. So, Murray and Joyce, they're in Russia, and they're going to give bribe money. and Hopper's broken out now with the thanks to Enzo. But Yuri, he's the Russian guy who he was like trying to help transport them because he has a plane. So he was going to, but then he's like, you know what would give me more money? You know, telling you where the escaped prisoner is. And you know what would give me even more money? If I told you where the corrupt guard was. And you know what would give me more money? If I gave them wanted criminals. So he basically just snitches on them all. And while going to Russia, Murray uses his kung fu karate skills to beat him up, which crashes the plane, but they're in Russia, so it's fine. And they're like 5 minutes away. It's a 5-minute walk, so it's fine. So they go to break him out because he's about to fight a Demogorgon, and when I say him, I mean Hopper. His name is Hopper, like the Minecraft item. So yes, I'm very funny there. Please laugh at my jokes. So, you know, he's fighting the Demogorgon, but he's like, no, I got fire, and they're gonna back you up. But don't worry, we can burn them because they're scared of fire. And then Murray and the other girl, they break into the facility because they're supposed to come. But Murray dressed up as Yuri, and he sneaks in. He's like, oh, I'm going to give you. But then the warden, yes, not the big blue scary guy, but the big Russian scary guy. And he's like, I'm going to show you these people being killed by this monster of ours, which is the Demogorgon. But you know what? Because they're there, they break Hopper out and Enzo, so they don't get killed by the Demogorgon, and they leave. But they find a lab where they have a bit of the Mind Flayer and some Demodogs, and them doing some surgery on another Demogorgon. And that's where we are right now. So they're out, and Max is saved, and Elle's beginning her experiments, and the Cali boys are coming to save her because she needs to be saved. I blinked there, but she kind of does. So now let's go back to the Hawkins boyos. So the Hawkins boyos, they know where Eddie is, and they're trying to protect him. But the jocks, who I haven't mentioned for a while, they've been hunting Eddie. They want to kill him because they think he killed Chrissy, which is the girlfriend. They find him, and he's like, oh no, I gotta go away. So he rows out on a boat. He rows his boat gently at the lake. Gently. Here comes the strong guys, and one of them gets killed by Vecna. That's what we're calling the magic dude for now, until later, I'm not sure, we might still call him that. Vecna just sounds cool. But anyways, they're here, and they're ready to go. Stay up, little herbs. They stay, check on Max, and they go to a war zone to get weapons, and basically they go, actually, let's backtrack a bit. They go to the place where the sports boy was killed. Like, it wasn't the main sports boy, it was like a little sports boy. Like, he works on the team, but he's a little dog. He's a little dog. In the big dog army. He's not the alpha dog. They go to find him because they go to meet up with Eddie somewhere, but they're like, oh wait, the compasses don't work. You know what happens when the compasses don't work? There's a portal. Oh my god, there's a portal. So they follow the compass to where the guy was killed, and then the big boys of the group, so this would be Steve, Nancy, the girl, damn it, I forgot her name, and Eddie. They go through the portal because Steve gets pulled into it, and he's attacked by bats, and they're in the Upside Down. But then they realize, oh, where everyone was killed has a portal to the Upside Down. So they use that opportunity to leave through the one in Eddie's room, and that's where we'll leave it for now. We'll just leave it. We'll leave it there. Go to the Cali people who are driving, and yeah. That's what Cali boys are doing. Now, the lab rats, they are doing experiments, which is basically just showing us 11's flashbacks, because that's how she needs to learn there's this one guy who's blonde. If I had my hair right now, I could have dressed up as him, but I don't. So I mean, I can Photoshop hair on my head, and I'm dressing up as him. Okay, I'm dressing up as a boy now. So she's doing experiments, but she realizes that he is one. He is one of, get it? He's one of the other boys, and she gets flashbacks of all the other test boys. So like we met 8, but it's like we meet like 1, 2 through like 15. Maybe, and it's like, whoa, there's a lot of them, but they all have the same powers as her, which is why I don't understand how 8's the only one with different powers. It's like they all have the same one, and 8 doesn't. I don't get that specifically, but maybe they all could if their like just she left early, so her powers weren't enhanced as much. So that's the only thing she could do. She could only control other people's heads instead of everyone's reality. But hey, that's just a theory, a film theory. She breaks out one because she thinks he's a good guy, but then he goes and kills all the other ones. And she's being bullied by them. It's like, she used to be bad, but now she's good. You're good? No, I'm gooder. Bully her! And that's what they do. And then when she realized that one is a bad guy, she opens a portal to another dimension and sends him to there, which is actually the Upside Down, where he becomes Vecna. Now, also Nancy got possessed and saw all this from Vecna's point of view. Also, one, he was the boy who killed the daddy's children. So like the first person Nancy went to do the interview, this is the son. So the son from there of the family of 4, he's the one doing all the killings. He's the one who's Vecna. He's the one who is one. And, you know, he's a big threat. So now that the Hawkins boyos know all this, they need to go to the Upside Down. So they start prepping. They go to the War Zone, which is a zone where you can buy your weapons and stuff. And they meet up with the sports jocks, and Nancy sees them, and he's like, yeah, you shouldn't buy a shotgun because someone can take it just like this. I'm sorry, I scared my dog. I'm sorry, but forgive me. So yeah, they start prepping and they go. But now let's meet back up with the commie daddies. They've broken out and they're at Yuri's hangar. And Yuri is like, okay, I have vehicle out of here. And he's no, I just have helicopter and I named that her girlfriend because they both have big butts. Haha, very funny. And he's just stalling for time. But Hopper's like, oh wait. And they call America, they call the good doctor, and he can't answer the phone, but someone else does, and it's like, oh, the girl, she's in danger. We'll get to that. And they need to go back to the Russian base, because that's where they are, and if the Mind Flayer's there, they could break out the Mind Flayer. So yes, now let's go to the lab rats. She feels like she's good now, and the good doctor does too, but the good doctor's put under house arrest by Brenner or Papa. I like calling him Papa and Brenner, so I just call him Papa Brenner, and that's fine. He's like, no, you need more training, he's too powerful. And then, unrelated, the military comes, and they are raiding the place, and they kill Papa Brenner, and she escapes, and just then is when the Cali boyos come and meet her and pick her up, and they go, and she needs to get to Hawkins because the Hawkins crew is in danger. So, you know, everything's starting to happen now, and this is episode 9. This is the movie. Episode 9, it's literally a movie. You have a start, beginning, and end. 11 needs to get to the Upside Down to protect them, and it's a great episode. But here's what happens in episode 9, Piggyback. They go to one of the surf shops in, the Cali boys go to the surf shop, basically the same, a chain of the pizza place, in wherever they are. They're in Nevada. Nevada, not Nevada. Nevada. If anyone says it like Nevada, you're wrong. It's Nevada. So they go and she uses the pizza freezer because that's the best thing they do, and they have a lot of salt there to use as her speak to people chamber. And okay, so now this is if I start it right now, it's gonna be weird because you're just gonna get spoilers. So now let's go back to the Hawkins boys, the Hawkins crew. So they go into the Upside Down and they all have teams to take on Vecna. They're gonna let Max get possessed because then he'll be in a trance-like state and people won't be able to. He won't be able to notice things, but he does because he's smart and he can read Max's mind. So he knew the plan. And it's an ambush and everyone's all scared. But then, right in the nick of time, the Rushies, the Commie Daddies, they come with a flamethrower and burn all the Demodogs and the Mind Flayer. Now, I don't know why the Mind Flayer didn't just choose to possess them and, go stop them or something. And also, why would they possess the Demogorgons and Demodogs? That doesn't make sense at all. Those are the things you're trying to kill. You're just putting a double back target on your back. That wasn't smart. But it burns them. And then also 11 comes in and helps and has a mind fight. He's like, mind fight. And they mind fight. But she loses and it's very sad and she's about to die. And, then Mike talks to her through the pizza freezer. He's the pizza freezer god now, as I will call him. So the pizza freezer god's like, I love you, and you could do this, and yes, I said I love you, and I'm sorry I didn't say I love you, but it's because I love you, so I love you, so don't die, please, because I love you. And, she doesn't die, and then the vines stop working, which I'm going to make a whole video on this, another one, talking about my upside down theories, and just stuff like that, so be on the lookout for my upside down theory. And, everything's great. Everything's great because now Steve and Nancy and Robin, that's her name, I remember again. They killed Vecna, except no, they don't, as they say later. And, Vecna kills Max, except no, she's in a coma because 11 saves her, kind of. And, now he's got the 4th kill, which if he gets 4 kills, he basically breaks the barrier. They have this metaphor for the upside down where, what happens is there's this paper and an acrobat. It's like he can only walk through this, he can walk this way, but something can go through it, like 11, and like a portal is a punch in it. He just rips off the page. They're the same thing now. So there's this portal to it in Hawkins. And this is where we get our days later. This is 2 days later. So, the Commie Daddies, they're back, and they're like, oh, I love you so much, 11. Specifically, not Murray. That'd be kind of weird if it was Murray saying all that. And, Robin kind of finds her crush, and they're working at a place to help people. And it's like, Will's like, now that I'm in town, he's not dead. And he's not going to stop until we're dead, so that's not good. And there's probably more happening in this however many minutes later, but, oh yeah, Jonathan and Nancy, they kind of fell out because Nancy's kind of like, ooh, Stevie Daddy, I saw your abs. And yeah, so it was a really good cliffhanger. I'm gonna talk about my season 5 stuff later in the video, but I mean, I was happy to see this cliffhanger. It's a good one. It leaves on a positive note, like all the however many minutes or seconds or days or months or years later. It just leaves on a good note. It's positive. It's not. I wasn't shouting at my screen, but I am craving more. But it's not like, damn it, I hate you. Give it to me now. It's like, yes, I'm done, and I have time to think about it, and I can make this video. So, Season 4. It was the longest one, and I think it was the most rewarding. As I mentioned earlier, Season 3 it was like, it was very short, it was very bingey because things happened slow, or happened very fast, I should say. It's like scene, 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 and it's going all around super fast. But here it's much better paced and it's so slowed down, so you get a lot more character development. And it's like one of the teams is just people driving around the country. I mean, but they give you a lot of character development for that, and it's like it's slower, the story, but it just makes it feel more rewarding because it feels like so much more happened because you get to see so much more of it. It's not like, okay, we're gonna start walking down this hallway, which is gonna take us a day. It's the next day. Okay, we're at the end of it. And just the story, the villains. Now when I did talk about the arcade, I don't get it. They said the upside down is basically just connected to what happened the day 11 made the portal, but I was under the impression in season 2 the arcade was made between season 1 and 2, which is why it was so popular. I could be wrong there, but I don't think I am because I'm never wrong. I mean, one was he's the best villain, but again, when I said the Mind Flayer, I don't understand the Mind Flayer now because a few lines in one of the, but in the end of episode 9, when Vecna was talking to 11. But besides that, I think it's a good leaving off point, and it's just waiting for more. But this was probably the best season, if we're gonna be honest. And now, on to, let's talk about the characters. I'm back. I just want to say, I am 9 gigabytes into the video. Storage is, I need to delete them all and upload them. Not in that order, I uploaded, then I deleted. But I didn't realize that, so I started filming again. And then I got 5 minutes in, and I probably was talking for another 20. That was fun. So I'm going to talk about it again, but I mean, I watched episode 6 of Miss Marvel. You want to see my review? It's probably already out because schedules, and I ate some yummy menudo. So, okay, I was talking about the characters, and let's start with Mikey Boy. I like Mike. He's not my favorite. I feel like it's always been him and 11. I feel like 11's more of a character than he is. I talked about this earlier, but I'm gonna put them together right now. For him, it's always been about, yeah, I love 11, and without that, he's not much. Like, yeah, he's the friend, he's the heart. I mean, I never really saw that. Heart, that's Dustin to me. I love Dustin because at the very least he gets my heart. So, but we'll get to Dustin. But Mike on his own didn't seem that interesting. I mean, it just felt weird that like season he's like the main guy that we look to. Now, in later seasons that somewhat changed, and it's like everyone's doing their own thing, but at the beginning it seemed like he was his own character. In season 3, Mike was a bit douchey. Like, I could almost see why Hopper didn't like him. Now, what Hopper said, I'm not saying that's justified. Again, we'll talk about that. But season 3, it wasn't Mike's best season, and then season 4, it felt better in season 4, but season 1 and 2, it was like, season 2 was probably, season 2 and season 4 were probably his best, but no, actually, he's a good character. It's just, season 3, he was a bit douchey, and like if it's a feminist movie, and he's the main love interest, where it's like, oh, like he's the guy in a feminist movie, pro-feminist, that's like, yeah, he's the dumb guy. And I'm not sure if I like that, but for the most part, he's good. It's just, especially season 3, and it just feels a bit not that. 11, I really like her as a character. She's strong, independent. She does feel like she's a Jedi who doesn't know all her powers. She can read people's minds. She can force pull things. She can just do a lot of Jedi-like stuff. I like her. I like her backstories. That seems interesting, and it just feels like she's a much more interesting character. And yes, she has the whole Dr. Brenner, Hawkins lab thing, but even without that, she just seems more interesting. I mean, that's also because like Hopper and the people she surrounds herself with are more prominent to the story, like, yeah, Mike has Nancy, but they don't interact much with, like, her and Hopper. Now, Lucas, let's get back to him. Really good. I think that it was good to have his story where it's like season 1 it's him being jealous, season 2 it's him falling in love with Max, season 3 he's basically Patrick from SpongeBob giving SpongeBob the worst advice, except Mike is SpongeBob and I really hated that. And season 4 it's him learning that being popular isn't everything, and kind of falling in love with Max again. And it's a good arc. Um, it's a good story. He's not my favorite, but I mean he's a really good character. They all are. It's just sometimes they don't work so well. Looking at new season 3. Max, she's a really great character. Starting off with being the like new girl in school, and like she kind of felt like the popular girl, and it was just like a good subversion of expectations when she shows up at Halloween, and it's like she's like she just shows vibes that like she's not gonna go, and then she just goes there, and I'm not sure if that's because Billy was gonna try to kill them with his car or what, but I mean that was a good start. And then season 3, she's one of the characters they didn't do dirty. I liked her in season 3. Her hanging out with Elle, that was good. And then in season 4, again, it was good. Her dealing with the death Billy and Kopi. She's got one of the strongest arcs, I'd say. She doesn't have a dip, unlike most of the other characters in one season or the other. Now, Dustin, my sweet baby Dustin, I love him so much. Dustin, Dustin, sweetie, he's the greatest. He's just a lovable, smart guy. He's I feel like he deserves to have more friends. And like, yeah, he's kind of the nerdy archetype, but also, I mean, he just seems so adorable and cute, and like, I want to be friends with him if he was a person at my school in real life. But he's not. And also, what the heck? Why didn't the girls want? I mean, I don't know, but he's pretty attractive, and I don't know why. No one really liked him, and yeah, it was. I felt really bad for him in season 2. I mean, does he have much of an arc besides I'm Steve's friend, and like, I don't know. In season 4, I guess maybe like not running away, but that was more of Eddie. But he's just a great character. He's just so charismatic. Now, since we're talking about him, and I don't think we have any more of the kiddies to talk about, let's go to the almost adults. We'll start with Steve, my boy. I hated him at first. He was one of those characters that like, I kind of love, but I also really hate. He just seemed like such a douchebag at first, and then as the seasons go on and he starts to hang out with the kids more, it's like he's just he's this chill guy, and it's like he's so cool. And Steve, I love you, man, but I used to hate you when you just cared about, like Nancy said, getting another strike on your belt or something, or another girl under your belt or something like that. But he's really matured and become one of the best characters from not one of the worst, but like one of the worst people. Just like douchey, like I said. Nancy, she's one of the most interesting because she started out as this two-dimensional, normal, just pretty girl. She's just a random teenage girl. Gets good grades, is attractive, comes from a pretty well-off family. Not the rich bully girl, but she, like just a random, the nice teenage girl archetype. And then she really starts to endure some trauma with Barb and the whole Demogorgon stuff at the end of the season, and like the shared trauma with her and Jonathan. Season 1 and 2, it's kind of a together arc. Season 3, did she? I don't remember her doing much in season 3. She was being the reporter, but that was a fine arc, but it just felt a bit whiny. Yeah, I was siding with Jonathan in that argument. And season 4, it was she did, again. She's a bit of a reporter, and season 4 she did better. A bit down in season 3, but not too bad. Jonathan, season 1, 2, 3, he was just that nice guy, that guy you could always talk to. And in season 4, he was. And then at the end of the season, he's like, oh, I'm gonna be that guy again. So it's just season 4. That was his down. He was like, he just he started smoking weed, and then that just didn't affect his character, because then once they were at the pizza place, he's like, no, I screwed up, and then goes back to being the same character, and it's like, you didn't have any development, and you weren't being the best person, and I want Steve to get Nancy instead of you to get Nancy back. That's all I'm saying. Now, Robin, she's a good character. I can't say she's my favorite, just because I haven't seen her as much. Like, she's a great character, but she doesn't have the same story as the other. Like, she started out good, and she really is good. The lesbian twist, I mean, it's fine. And I don't say that as like I'm mad it happened per se, but like it just didn't affect the story as much. I mean, in season 4, seeing her crush on the other girl was nice, and I'm not sure where that'll go in season 5, but I don't know. She's a great character. I just want to see a bit more of her before I can call her my favorite or anything. But she's really good. She's just, I wouldn't say developed that much, but I mean, seeing her become friends with Nancy was good, and it's just, she doesn't feel like she's part of the crew yet, even though this is her second season. It's just, she feels a bit pushed off and like not officially part of it, but she is. Now, Eddie, I love the guy, again, with just like with Henderson, with Steve. I mean, they're all just lovable goofs, and like, he seems so hard on the outside, and like, rrr. But he's just a jokey, lovey, Papa Bear type figure, and like, I just love that his last lines were along the lines of "take care of the sheep." That struck me real good, and I don't know, he was just a great character and a great person, and I mean, yeah, he's just great. I mean, if you don't love Eddie, what's wrong with you? Okay, so we are now going to talk about the adultos, starting with Joyce. Now, I didn't really think of this until yesterday, but she has really suffered a lot. I mean, she's had 2 lovers, one of them officially dead, one of them she thought was dead for 9 months. She's had her son, basically lost for 4 days, and then dead, and then not dead, and in like some other dimension, and she doesn't know how to get to him, and she's basically going mad, and then she gets possessed later, and it's like, this could be like a big breakdown story, and she just becomes some alcoholic and a character that no one likes anymore, but she stays strong, and she's basically Molly Weasley, if Molly Weasley, just, I don't know, she was a bit younger, and I mean, yeah, she's like she's a great mother archetype figure. Now we get to Hopper. Now, season 1 he was fine. I don't think he did much in season 1. He was like a nice character, but he didn't see that well developed. Season 2, him as a father, I loved that so much. Him and 11, he made a great father, and then him with his daughter. Season 3, he's a total asshole. He was being mean for no reason to Mike because he was kissing his daughter too much. He was being mean to Joyce because she was busy and couldn't go on a date with him. And she was mean to a Russian guy for no reason. He was mean to Murray for no reason. He was mean to the president, I understand that, but he just felt like a horrible person in season 3. Then it's like he sacrifices himself, and it's like wiping the slate it clean, and nothing happens, and it's like, at the end of season 4, we'll talk about season 4 in a second, it's like, he gives Mike a hug, and it's like, I wish there could have been some that led up to that, but season 4, I mean, we learn more of his backstory with this kid, like, he was serving the Navy or something, and he got all those chemicals, and that's why, and that was really sad, and him and Enzo, they were great, and I don't know, he was just great in this season. Murray, he's great season 2. I just liked him. It was like random, but he was also hilarious. The shtick of like you two should get together. It worked then. Season 3, it's that they went to him because he could speak Russian, and it just felt like they were copying it because it worked in season 2. But then him and Alexei, they were good. I liked that, and then season 4, he was good. Especially him when he was impersonating Yuri, that was really funny. He's a great character. Papa Brenner, as I like to call him, because he's sometimes called Papa, sometimes called Dr. Brenner. Papa Brenner, he was he's interesting to me because I see him as like, I'm not sure if we're supposed to just, he's a bad guy, I don't trust him, or if he's like an Umbridge where they're writing you to hate him and not like he's just a bad guy. Like, it's not like he's Voldemort, but he's Umbridge. But then in season 4, they kind of try to redeem him when Eleven goes there, but then she stabs him in the back, and like, I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about him. And I'm not sure how I do feel about him. He's well written, but I just don't know what I'm supposed to feel. And now that he's dead, they only have flashbacks to further him, give more explanation, but I don't think we need anymore. It's like he was this doctor guy who was trying to make leaps, but didn't do them that great and wasn't that great a person, and science over people. But can you fault him? But it's like, it's just, it's weird. The mayor, he was fun. I like the mayor. He felt like a rat. He felt like a virus who's just gonna go to whoever will protect him. Whatever host suits him. You might say. Um, yeah, he was well written, and I liked how. Yeah, he was just Billy. I liked it in season 2 where he was just being like a jerk, like, the bully of the school, like the jock. But like no one likes. I can't say no one likes him, but like he's a bad person. But no, Billy in season 2 was good. Season 3 was a bit flat, and I only really care about him now because Max cares about him. And this is the whole like, you it was I'm gonna call it Bob paradox, where it's like, just by people we liking you, it makes you better, and then if you're better on your own, that's great, and it makes you a really great character. But even if not, you're still good. And now that we're talking about Bob, Bob is the boss. Okay, everyone. Bob is a great character. I mean, he was just so nice. He didn't deserve to die. I mean, you could have sent it anyone besides Bob, but why did it have to be Bob? He's a nice guy. Um, the policeman, like not Hopper, but his assistants. I'm gonna group them all as one. They were fine in season 1, 2, and 3. I'm not sure if they were in season 3. But in season 4, with them like being a bit more in charge now, I just didn't like them. I mean, yeah, maybe it's because they're replacing Hopper, but also it just, they didn't feel as fun as Hopper as like these policemen. It's like they were trying to be like Hopper, but they weren't. The sports jocks, we'll talk about them now. I'm just thinking of any character I can. The sports jocks. I did not like them. Well, I did like them, but it's like their leader. He just felt dumb at times. Well, he like, yeah, controlled by his emotions, but like Chrissy went by, he just didn't listen, and it's like he just felt self-destructive, and like I liked them as characters, but I don't know, they didn't feel that great, and I mean, I don't know, it was like they were good characters, but 8, okay, 8, she was good in her whole gang. Now I really hope they do more with her in season 5. Bring her back to help fight Vecna. Because if you can't just have 11 to beat her, then bring in someone who can help and has different powers. But like she felt, I can't say like she was led down the wrong path by someone, were like manipulated, but she believes in doing things the different way, and she's an interesting character, but we haven't seen enough of her. Vecna, he was so interesting. I mean, as Vecna, that was interesting. As one, that was interesting. As Charlie Charles, whatever his name was, that was interesting. They were all interesting parts, and putting together made this really interesting character. I can't think of too many main characters to talk about, so now let's move on to the next category, and yeah. So while watching, I noticed that there were some really beautiful scenes, and I just wanted to point them out. Some like artistically crafted scenes. Now, I mean, the starting D&D scene, that was great. I really loved it. Um, it was just a great introduction to the characters, and you could see that they were like best friends, and it was great introduction to the story, a great introduction to the characters, and just like a warm start to, and then you move on to the Demogorgon and the horror part. The next episode was when Nancy and Steve were doing their thing, and Barb was in the Upside Down. I loved the flash between something so beautiful of some like just two people in love to someone fearing for their life, and it was a great scene where it's like there's a bit of ignorance and you kind of hate Nancy in the moment, but also is it her fault? And it again, artistically crafted. I think that's about it for season one. I mean, the scene with 11 rescuing the boys from the bullies. I mean, again, that was good. Where it's like, she's our friend, and Dustin's just screaming like that. That was that was really beautiful. To season two, I think that the Ghostbusters scene again. It's like the D&D one where it just shows the bond they have. See any more for season two? Just a lot of the scenes with Mama, they were really good. I mean, the flashbacks and the realization. Again, when 11 met 8, that struck deep. And also when she left. I mean, those were just the whole episode with 8. That's one of my favorite episodes from the show. And then not one scene, but I'm specifically thinking of the bitching when she says she looks bitchin' to Hopper when they reunite. A lot of times when she says just words that someone taught her, like friends don't lie, bitchin'. There's plenty of other examples I'm probably forgetting. It feels good. It feels like character growth, because it's growth of her vocabulary. And it gives you some sort of feeling, or at least me inside. It's hard to explain, but when she says these words, it's like you can't do this with any character, but just with her specifically. I don't know if it's just like it shows how far she's grown. If it's like it's paying tribute to the original scene, and it's like just whenever she says bitch and friends don't lie, stuff like that, it really strikes deep. Season 3, I I'm not trying to hate on season 3. I honestly can't think of any ones. I mean, the crying, the singing. Don't bring that up. That didn't need to happen. That was cringy. That's not beautiful. No. Um, I don't know. I mean, a lot of the scenes with Max and Elle, they were good. I'm not sure if they're beautiful. I think of them mainly as beautiful through flashbacks. Um, I don't know about season 3. Season 4, I mean, just the whole start. Oh, okay. One more thing. Every 2 months later, those go on the list. So the 1 month later season 1, the 1 month later season 2, the 3 months later season 3, and the 2 days later season 4. They're all great. So that like especially her reading the letter for season 3. for season 4, her reading the letter to Mike about her life. A lot of the bullying scenes, I'm not sure if beautiful, but like they were very important. One specific scene in season 4, which really sticks out to me, is the car ride where Will is saying that Mike is the heart. It really struck deep because you can see everyone in the car is taken in different ways. I mean, yeah, Mike about 11, but then you have Will thinking about the whole team, and then you have the brother who's thinking about. At first I thought Nancy, but then watching the show more, I think it's definitely about him and Mike, like we see in episode 9. It was just a great way to give everyone character development in different ways. Of course, Dear Billy, when she's reading out Dear Billy. I'm sure there's plenty more I can think of, but just the fact that all of these exist show what a beautiful show this is. What an emotional journey. I'm hoping we have a lot of more of this in season 5, which is the next part. Great transition. It's the far future, about a month later from recording the Stranger Things video, but I'm editing it. I mean, I'm currently filming the next video in the series of I Just Watched. If you can guess which character I'm playing, I'll pin, and the show, of course, I'll pin your comment, and I don't know, I'll edit you into the video if you say it before the video comes out. Okay, one more beautiful scene. In season 4, there was this one scene while the Hawkins gang was getting ready for the fight against Vecna. You were seeing, it starts with Eddie and Dustin just playing around, and Eddie's like, never grow up. That was great. Then we moved to Lucas and Erica, his sister. I haven't mentioned her at all. She's a good character. I mean, season 3 and stuff, she's a bit annoying, but, well, not season 3. She was good in season 3, but other seasons she was a bit annoying, but she, in the season 3 and 4, she did really good. She's a character that blossoms in the later seasons, even season 3. That's surprising. But anyways, it was her and Lucas, and she was kind of saying something about him being dumb for the whole sports thing. And he's like, why'd you come to a game? And he's like, I don't remember. It was something about, like, you're my brother or something. That was a good scene. And then we see Steve and Robin and Nancy. They were talking about stuff, and you know, all of the interactions was really good. And then of course one more scene. When Steve was talking about his little nuggets. That was a good scene. But I've got my other video to film, and I'd like to get it over with because this is very hot. It's hot outside. My room is made of, my walls are made of cement, so the air is being stuck in. I shut the door so it doesn't mess up my light. So yeah, I'm a go now. Bye. Now to talk about season 5. Now this morning I was checking. It's estimated to be around 2024. I'm hoping like maybe February 2024. That'd be great. I don't want to wait till like October, November 2024. Cause then I'm just gonna die. Because I need my Stranger Things. Now, here's really what I'm hoping. I want like a 5-hour movie, and I know that's not gonna happen. But what I mean by that is like it's just this complete story interwoven. You don't have these dumb side plots. I need it to be a complete story because if this is gonna be the end, I don't want the end to be like season 3. Don't do that to me. I won't be able to take it. Theories, I don't think I'm really going to discuss theories right now, but I just want a complete story, which is a great ending. Don't leave it open-ended. I don't want more, and I don't say that as like, I don't want to keep watching it, but I don't want them to milk it for all it's worth. I want it to be the stories that, what are they called? The Duffin brothers, wanted to tell, and I don't want it to be pushed any further. or not or have anything left out. I want this to be their true vision because they've got us this far. They brought us season 4, season 1, and season 2. I'm hoping not season 2. I hope is someone just like um they they made it for them and that's why it was bad. Because if that was their vision, I'm scared. But no, I really think they just wrap everything up in a nice bow. I don't want it to be the longest thing, but I just I just want a full Battle of Hawkins where we get resolutions to all our characters. You bring back ones, and it's like everyone is a part of it. It's basically a big amped up version of what we know, except this is the end. It's do or die. Everyone comes in. It's basically like all the past seasons were the if we just look at a season where everyone's doing their own thing. Each season was kind of doing their own thing with leading up to this big thing. This is the finale of the season where everyone comes together to stop it. That's what I want. I don't want it to be necessarily too long because I don't necessarily want it to be season worth. I mean, I want however long the story is. I'm not sure how long that could be, but I want it to be. I just want it to be great. I mean, when it's gonna happen, how I'm not sure. And when I say when, I mean in story. Like, or is it gonna be like they're still leaving and then it happens, or like it's like basically a volcano waiting to erupt, or what? But I feel like whatever you do, you gotta go out the way the Duffer Brothers wanted. Duffer, and it just needs to be their complete vision, and I don't want you to ruin it for money, to make more seasons, to make a spin-off, whatever they're intending, go with it. Yeah. Now, it's time for my final thoughts of the show. I'm still stuck on the beautiful scenes, and I'm on the verge of tears. But what are my overall thoughts? It was just great. I mean, the characters, the plot. I mean, we discussed it all through this. How great it is. The beautiful scenes. The great acting. I mean, the great characters. You need to watch this. And if you've watched this far and you're going to dedicate over an hour to your life of watching why this is so good, watch the show. If you don't have Netflix, I don't care. Just buy 1 month and then you can leave. But you need to watch this show. It is one of the most beautiful, most artistic, and I mean, especially for a show of this popularity, I mean, it's great. This, I just, thanks for watching, and Stranger Things. This show is about D&D and also probably other things from 1985. Well, it takes place in 1985, but it's not made in 1985.